Kintsugi Koko here! Welcome to my quirky, eclectic vlog. How is everyone? Hopefully staying nice and cozy warm. 'Tis 7 degrees outside, so we are stepping up from -4 this morning. It was quite chilly when I woke up. I am taking a break from doing my independent studies. Right now we're deep diving into numerology. I'm working on my I Ching today. Oh, the sunshine. Oh, we love the sun. Working on my I Ching. Ooh, shiny, shiny. I Ching, ching. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. Anyway, I had to take a break because my pen, these pens are amazing, y'all. The way they glide on paper, I'm obsessed with. Not as obsessed as I am with writing graphite on paper because I could make a bed in that sensation. I am in love with writing graphite on paper. However, with things I want to keep more permanent and more visible for a longer period of time, I absolutely use ink. So homegirl's got to go to the store because not only am I doing my I Ching and numerology studies with this pen, I also am doing my human design deep diving with this pen. So this pen has been using a lot of energy. It has utilized all of its life force into my studies. That is a-okay. We love it for that. We just have to go get more so we can continue. And today I wanted to touch on a little bit of what I was talking about last night in my video as far as my philosophies, because I did cut off abruptly. And I just wanted to touch back on it because I feel like they're really important, and absolutely more people, or at least one other person, could absolutely hear what my philosophies are, and it would possibly help them eons, you know what I'm saying? And the first philosophy that I was speaking on last night is my philosophy of doing everything with intention, right? Living presently. What I mean by that is no matter what I am doing, I am fully engaging my body. I'm fully engaging my core. And obviously I'm human, so sometimes I do find myself slipping back into not necessarily guarded, because I have healed through a lot of the guarding and shielding I was doing with my core and my body. More or less in the sense I feel my body kind of concaving into itself, if you will. And so to heal my body from that, to teach my body how it is supposed to be held up and how it should be holding itself, I engage my core in everything I do. And I am constantly checking in with my body to ensure correct postulation, engagement of my core, even my hip area, making sure I'm not tilting my hips either too far forward or too far back. And I guess that really goes into posture as well. However, no matter what I am doing, what task I am completing, whether it's doing the laundry, walking upstairs, just walking in general, working on art, sitting here in this chair, right? I am checking in, engaging my core, and making sure everything is in connection. And in doing so, I have been able to heal my body immensely by finding where the weaknesses were in my body, right? And if anyone follows your astrology, your stars, it really goes in everything, like your numerology, any of that metaphysical studies, right? Any of those metaphysical studies. And you're a pattern recognizer like myself, you find a lot of genetic trauma and even trauma currently lived in this lifetime can be held and stored in your body but they also have a reason for remaining there. It's almost as if it's like a lesson for you to learn in a sense. And in doing the engaging of my body, I really found, okay, for the longest time, especially from my car accident, I had a lot of edema in my neck and on my shoulders, and I was in a lot of pain. I always had migraines. It would not take much for me to black out from the pain of the migraines. And as I was healing my body, I learned that I was taking on other people's responsibilities, right? The weight of the world was on my shoulders in a sense. And it really was. I was so, I don't even really know what word to use, honestly, but I was like holding myself up like this, and I was guarded over. Like I was really heavily guarding my core, and felt like I just had to hold myself up in the sense of like with my shoulders, like I was hung up like a coat rack. And learning that, I slowly started, okay, what are limited beliefs I'm holding on from other people that I need to release? And as I released those, right, and I moved those away, I like fell back into my natural position. I fell back into a relaxed neutral, where sometimes I find myself like tensing, but it's nowhere near where it was before I started that journey, right? And the same with my hips. I was born with hip dysplasia. So I was a double diaper baby, and that was the cure for my hips at the time. So I had a lot of discomfort. I had a lot of pain walking and sitting and laying down, to the point where the first time I went to a chiropractor, I was, I think, 6 years old. So for 25 years, I went to the chiropractor. And going to the chiropractor alleviated the ick monetarily. However, within like 2 or 3 days, I was back in pain, if not in more pain. So it was really crazy for me to see that. Moving over to England, I really was able to gain new sights into medicine and new sights into how the body operates. And in learning that information, it really helped me to heal my body back to a state where we're relaxed. We aren't tensed. We're not holding on to things we shouldn't be holding on to. We're letting it go as we experience it, right? And we're learning to continue to let things go and continue to search and find. I don't have to search and find, because obviously you'll notice like, oh, when I'm walking, my hip hurts. Okay, well, what hip? First of all. And even like that triggers into your metaphysical studies and how the body corresponds with the stars, and how even from that, like I had mentioned, the genetic trauma. A lot of people who have trauma in the hips believe is associated with, oh, I can't remember what that one is. But like I mentioned, like the shoulders is like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, right? And I had seen something where issues with your thighs is like held resentment. So people who have a lot of issues with either losing weight in that area, or they have a lot of muscular issues, a lot of that can be tied back to some type of resentment that they're still holding on to, whether or not they're aware of it or not, right? And so engaging my core has helped me fix and realize all those fun things. And I guess I could, in another video, go into more depth of, well, I guess I don't have to, because that's more personal of my body and how I healed it, what my issues were, right? But I'm always open if anyone has questions to answer the questions, because absolutely I am here to share what I have learned through experience, which I feel is a lot more accredited than I mean, I'm not saying that school degrees are not accredited. However, I will say I value experience over a certificate any day. That's how I view things. My second philosophy, I will say, on a more lighthearted note, is my philosophy of living through my inner child eyes. You know what I mean? No, you don't know what I mean. What I mean by that is how I approach everything in life is how would my younger child live this experience? How would a healed younger child, like healed inner child of my experience this experience? So not necessarily from the mentality or the emotional maturity of a child, but in the sense of, am I approaching this through a lens of lighthearted innocence in this way that I'm being jovial and I'm having a good time, I'm exploring, I'm curious, I'm pushing my boundaries, right? I am exploring and living in that viewpoint really allows me to not only connect with myself, connect to the world around me. It's also, I honestly, like, Benjamin Button over here, aging backwards. I'm just kidding. I really do think, though, it absolutely affects how your body does age. If you act very lighthearted and very childlike, who's to say your body doesn't know that you're not a child? You know what I'm saying? Your body only knows what you tell it. And I am constantly telling myself that we are a child. We are just starting out in this life. We have just begun. There is still so much more to learn, so much more to grow. And keeping that mentality and keeping that mindset really allows my body to bounce back after injuries, because a child who falls off the monkey bars is going to be climbing on the monkey bars the next day, right? And keeping that lightheartedness to it. Obviously, if I injure myself, I take the time to rest so I can fully heal. We've had a few incidences within the past 6 months where we absolutely were pushing our boundaries on what our body was capable of doing. Since then, we've started working out more consistently, so we've gotten stronger. So we are more agile. However, I still get the bumps and bruises. Like, if you look at my legs right now, I look like a kid with all the bruises on my legs from the jump park this past weekend. I was flipping. I was teaching kids how to flip. I was being chaotic, okay? I was a full-on child in that jump park, and all the kids were loving it. I had quite a few kids that migrated to me and were hanging out with me, and we were there with nieces and nephews and my son, obviously. However, other kids kind of migrated and found me, and it was really fun. I had so much fun. I immediately, when I first got there, went to the trampoline and attempted a front flip and landed it on my feet. Ah! That was amazing. I was not expecting to land it on my feet. I was expecting, like, butt bust it. Nope, I landed straight on my feet, and I... Did anyone else just see this? So I really think maintaining that absolutely helps keep your body young. Obviously, as you get older, you need to allot more some time for rest and recovery and recuperation, because we are human. We are not indestructible. We are not invincible. Our spirit and souls may be, but this human body needs rest, needs nutrients, needs its time to be able to fully support it. I also thank my body regularly for holding me the way it does and healing the way it does. I feel like speaking into yourself that way also really affects, and pouring into yourself that way really affects how your body responds to you. Whereas if you speak negatively about your body, it kind of gives you negative results in a sense. You know what I mean? So that is all for today, folks. I love y'all big much. I'm going to go get some new pens so I can finish my research. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Toodaloo.